Thanks, John.
Okay, you're on.
Hey, everybody. How you doing tonight?
Good.
Fine.
Great, great. Got a lot to go over. Glad to see you again. And if you have any questions along the way, just chime in and I'll do my best to answer.
Oh, okay, you're fading out again. Come closer to the mic.
Okay. Hang on a
That's
second.
better.
Got it. Okay. I'll try to speak clearer too. So to get some housekeeping things out of the way, one thing that's happened in the past week or two is Amazon Sidewalk. Have you guys heard anything about that?
Yes.
Okay. So what it is, without going down into the long road, Amazon has enabled its devices to tap into your network if you have it turned on in your home. So for example, if you have an Amazon, you have an Echo device or something and you have it on, if you don't go in there and disable this setting, you can share your Wi-Fi connection with somebody outside who's just passing by in front of your house, and they can tap it. I'm not sure why they did that from a security standpoint, but I get why they're doing it to make their devices easier to get onto the internet, like Fire tablets and things that people have. But they put a hole into your Wi-Fi by default, and you have to tell it not to share. And I was hoping to go over that with you folks tonight. Just go to the setting and tell you just to turn it off if you want to share it. So
Good, let's do it.
So in your A-Lady app on your phone, ALEXA app, okay, that's the app you use to configure your Echo Dot or whatever it is. You go into there and you're going to go into your account settings. And that's going to be the tab on the far right, and you'll see it, and it'll say account settings. You go in there, and then you go into the thing called Amazon Sidewalk. And you can read all about it, what it does, what it says. It's basically a longer version of what I just told you. And just disable it. And what that'll do is that'll keep your Wi-Fi yours and not to be shared with other Amazon devices around your home, outside of your home. So I don't know why Amazon did it that way, where you have to opt out. I think you should be opting into this kind of thing, but I want to forewarn you if you have Amazon devices. That's kind of one of the housekeeping things I wanted to tell you. Any questions on that? Okay.
The only disadvantage of that is just people would be able to use your internet and it would be slower, I guess, or is that really the only downside?
That's right, because your internet connection, your Wi-Fi is not an unlimited resource. The more you split it up and use it, the less each device gets. It's kind of like the water going to your home. The more you split it up and use it, the less pressure you have for each faucet. It's the same way with Wi-Fi. So if Amazon opens up a hole in the Wi-Fi, letting people tap it who are not, you don't know about, and they're using it outside your home, that will take away from you because there's only so much bandwidth to go around. But yeah, the long story short is yes, you will lose some throughput bandwidth if you allow others to tap your Wi-Fi. So. Okay, I guess moving on, you guys know that Apple's releasing iOS 15, and that's happening this fall. And the thing that's germane to us is that they're going to enable this feature called live text. And what that is, it's kind of like what SuperSense and Seeing AI and all these apps do when you want to read text. It's just going to be incorporated into iOS. And I don't know if it's going to be in the magnifier app or where it's going to be maybe in the camera, but you'll be able to point it at something and it'll actually start reading it just like these other apps do. So I guess they borrowed that that idea from SuperSense and Seeing AI, and they're putting it right into the operating system, right into the Apple device. So there's a whole lot of other features that we won't get into, but that seems to be the one that might be interesting for us. So,
Manny, it's Maggie.
hi, Maggie.
Is this sort of the same type of thing as the new headset that has a camera on it? You point it and it reads to you?
I didn't catch that last part. Can you say it one more time?
Is this the same type of thing as the new headset that you wear with a small camera that you now can point at a page and it will read to you?
Yeah, it's all what they call OCR, optical character recognition. The only difference with this is that the phone will do it just like it does in Seeing AI. You don't have to open the Seeing AI app. You can just use the camera on the phone and it'll read it in real time, which will be great. Yeah, but yes, it's just like the optical, the glasses that you can buy that have the cameras on them that feed the phone, and then the phone reads the text. Yes, absolutely. Okay, you got it. So moving on, the first thing I wanted to talk about is a brand new app that I just found out about yesterday, and I wanted to get it into today's lesson. I thought it was a very interesting app. So I don't know much about it, but I want to at least explain it to you so you get a sense for what it is. So there's an app out there called the Sunban app. Barbara already has it. We played with that app yesterday at her house, and her husband helped us get it all set up and get it working. And what it does, it just lets you book rides without having to call Sunban per se. You can still call them if you want to, but you can use this app to book your rides. And what you need to sign up for this app is what they call a client ID, I believe it's what it's called. And then of course you got to get the app off of the App Store. Then when you run the app for the first time, you have to enroll into the app. And that doesn't mean you're enrolling again into Sunban, which is what I thought when I saw the button. But you would hit the enrollment button so you can use the app. And then you'll get an email. And then when they send you that email, you'll click on the little link and then you'll fill out a few little fields and hit OK. And then the app will be available for you to use. And then you can book rides. And then, at the time they're coming to get you, like when you're on the manifest, so to speak, for the driver, you can track where the van is. So you know how long they're going to be before they get to you. So I haven't used the app yet. I've just learned about it. So, and maybe future lessons, well, I can't make rides at 6:30 at night, I don't think, but I could try, but we'll see. We can try to play with it, but I just wanted to make you aware of it.
Manny, let me add to that.
Go ahead.
You have to call the ADA office to get your client ID number. And it's a different number. I was surprised. It's the old one. It's 7915409. So maybe you can put that in your notes, Manny.
I will. I'll add that in. Yes.
Okay. And then once you get your client ID and you're enrolling, you have to put your birthday down and then your email twice. And that's all they ask for. And you have to set up a password. Excuse me. You have to set up a password.
Okay. Barb, does this work only for the Tucson Sunvan, or will this work for the down here, which is a branch of Sunvan, but not quite Sunvan?
It only works on Sunvan. And this is a pilot program. If it works correctly, then they will expand it to other services. But right now, it's just for Sunvan.
What's the app called that I would get off the App Store?
Sunvan.
Okay. Let's search the App Store somewhere. All right, thank you.
So yeah, that's what Barbara said. It's not hard to set up. And your client ID, I believe, is going to be a 5-digit number. So just remember that. And you'll call the ADA, they'll give you your number, you'll have to write it down. And
Right,
then
or you can call the reservationist and they'll switch you to the ADA. You can do it
that
that way.
as well. Yes, yes. So it'll be an interesting app to use because you can now book your rides just like you would hail a ride from, I don't know, like from Uber or something. You can actually do the Sunvan thing. But I think the rules still apply, I believe. You can only do it a day before, and I don't know. We'll have to try the app out, but at least it's an
Right.
electronic doing.
One of the other things it had on there, it has your call history. So it has all the places that you've been in the last month. So when you book the ride, all you have to do is double tap on any of those addresses and it puts it right in.
That's right, yeah.
Because I had to look and see that one address I didn't recognize, and then I realized it was the Olive Garden.
Well, all right. Okay, so that was it for that app. If you have any questions about enrollment, I can help you with that now that I've done it once with Barbara, and I'm going to try it this week for me. So I'll be practiced enough to be able to be dangerous with this app next time. So again, this is just an FYI more than a training thing for this one because it's just so new. All right. Any questions about the Sunban booking app, or are we good to go? All right. Well, in that case, we're going to head on over to this other app that's a close friend of mine, and it's the Voice Memos app. This is the one where you can use your phone like the old cassette recorders, the little handheld recorders. You can take voice memos and play them back and all this great stuff. So I'm going to demonstrate how you, we've visited this app before, but I thought it was worth going over again because I got a few extra things I want to show you this time, okay? So to create a voice memo app, the first thing you do is you grab your phone and tell Siri to open up the voice memo app. So I'm going to do that now, okay? So I'm going to go, hey Siri, open voice memos.
Voice memos, record.
So once voice memos comes up, it's going to come up and it's going to tell you it's in the voice memos app, and then it's going to place you right on the record button. So if you can't see the screen, don't worry. All you have to do is double tap to begin recording. So I'm going to do that now. I'm going to record something real quick. So I'm going to double tap the screen. Hey, 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 this is Manny, not Fat Albert. So I recorded that. Now, if I want to play it back, I can go to the play button, which is in the middle of the screen up. I can just use my one finger to glide up and explore the screen. And when I hear the word play, I'll stop and then I'll double tap the play button. So let me do that.
App switcher. Voice memos. App
Oops, hold on a second.
voice play.
There it is, play. I'm going to play it.
App
Hey, this is Manny, not Fat Albert. Okay.
play button.
So that's how you create one. And the quality of the voice memo is usually very good, but you can tell it to store it in smaller files. The higher the quality of your voice memo, the more room it's going to take up.
Screened it.
Not a big deal, but if you want to save space and keep a lot of these, you'll want to go to settings and change that to the compressed style audio instead of the raw audio or the uncompressed, because the uncompressed takes about 10 times as much space and you don't have any appreciable quality difference between the two. Just a side note for that. It's in settings, voice memos, and inside there it's going to be called quality or recording quality. That's what you go to.
Street 32, May 31st.
All right, so
2021.
the other thing
15 seconds.
The other thing that we want to do is we want to rename one. So let's say that you're going to go into it for the first time. I'm going to close it.
App switcher. Voice memo.
I just closed it. I'm going to open it again, and I'm going to choose one and rename it. Okay, I'm going to give it a name, because when you record these things, if you go with the default settings, it's only going to put in the place where you recorded it as the title, and then it'll give it a number. So if I record it at my own home, it'll put my address in there. And then if I record another one after that, it'll put my address in, and then number 2 after that. You know, and then until you give it like a meaningful name, we really don't know what they are. So this is what we're going to do. We're going to go and name them.
Amazon.
So let me do that now. Hey Siri, open voice memos.
Voice memo.
So I'm just going to grab one of them.
Button.
So one of these here.
ER.PL. 6.
So there's one there. Now, if I want to rename one, the way this screen works is I have to go into what's called the edit button, edit mode first. That's going to be located at the top right of the screen. So you can use your finger to explore. I'm going to do that.
Ecreeks. ER. Insert. All edit. Button.
Edit.
Cancel.
And then what I'm going to do is use my finger again to go down to one of them. It's really just in a list. So I'm going to glide my finger down the screen.
All search. ER.PL. 6:50 p.m.
So there's the one that I just
5
did.
seconds.
So if I want to edit that, I think I click on it.
ER. Selected. ER.PL. Edit title.
Edit title. And what I do is I swipe up with one finger to get to that option, edit title. So I'm going to do that, I think.
Cancel. Edit.
Try that again.
ER. More actions. Perform. ER.PL. Audio recording mid close.
Try that again.
ER.PL. 6-bit edit. Button. Cancel. ER.PL. Edit title.
All righty, it's not letting me edit the title. So hold on a second here.
Cancel.
Oops.
Edit. ER.PL. More actions. Move to fold. Delete. Favorite. Activate. Default. ER.PL. Text field.
All right,
Is editing.
I had to coax it.
ER.PL.
I just had to double tap it instead of doing that edit. I'm sorry about that. I forgot that they changed it. So
L.
what I'm going to do
Count P.
is I'm going to delete the thing that's there, and then I'm just going to dictate something in there. I'll call it Manny Albert or something like that. So I'll do that. I'll dictate the name. Manny Albert.
Inserted Manny Albert.
And that's all you do. And then it changes the title. And then that's done. And then when you're done, you just go back.
Back button. Back button. All recordings. Manny Albert.
And
6:50 p.m.
Manny Albert's still there. Now, if I want to delete that recording, what I can do is I can activate it, I believe. Let me just go in
Manny
there.
Albert.
And then there's a delete icon right below it.
Double
And
tap
I'll find it with my finger.
to play. Button. Fast forward. Delete.
And there's a delete right there.
Swipe up down to select.
And when I hit delete, that will remove the recording. It'll actually put it into a deleted recordings folder.
Delete. Equals 332.
So, and that's basically it for voice memos. You can add, you can edit the title, and then you can delete. And it also stores the duration and all that of the recording. So, nice handy little feature for taking quick notes without having to write stuff down. So, any questions on that one? Or are we okay?
Yes, Manny, when
Yeah.
you create a memo, can you later add to it?
I've never tried that. I think you cannot do that. I think what you can do, and I run into this by mistake actually. I think you can, when you're in the process of recording for the first time, I believe you can pause it and then add to it. But I think once you finished the recording and got out of it, you can't go back in later and then into it, as far as I know. I can check into that if you like.
Okay, thank you.
I'm not 100% sure, but I don't think you can do that. But
So it's just a short note, like a Post-it.
basically, yeah, basically, you just take a quick note, it files it away for you, you can retrieve it later, you know, kind of thing. Okay, so, all right, let me go to the next thing. And by the way, you know, you can have as many of these memos as you want. Usually, they don't take up a lot of space unless you record for hours and hours and hours. But you can have a lot, but then your list will get unruly and you'll have to sooner or later go through it and figure out what they want and what you want. Okay, so here's an interesting one. Do you remember we were talking about earlier in tonight when I was talking about how live text is going to become a reality on the iPhone later this year? Well, guess what? The Notes app already has that ability. A Notes app, what you can do is you can take a, I don't know, like a page of something, and you can actually create a note with a picture of that page. And all of the text on that page will be read by your phone. So it's kind of cool. So what I wanted to do, like again, we've been over the Notes app before, but we didn't really go into the OCR part of it, the part that reads text. And it works a lot like Seeing AI and Super. But what this does, it stores it in a note for you. When you take a picture of the document or whatever it is you're taking a picture of with text, it'll actually store it as a note. You can retrieve it later in your note. So let's see.
Manny?
Yeah.
Can you review how to make a new note and all that before you go into that?
Yep, that's exactly what I was going to do next. We're going to scan a document into a note. Now, has anybody ever done that before out there? Okay.
Nope.
Okay. So what it is if it allows you to take something, you know, like a piece of mail or like maybe an owner's manual or anything that's got printed text, and you can put it into a note and always retrieve it later. It's kind of a real handy thing. So I got something in from Amazon the other day. Let me see. Pick out a thing. Here we go. So I got a food chopper slicer dinger, and it's got the front page of the manual here. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to scan this in with notes, and I'm hoping that it will read whatever the text is on it. It should say something about a chopper dicer thing. So let's go to each of the steps and do that now.
7 p.m. Try again.
Okay. So first we got to open Notes. So I'm going to go into Notes.
Notes.
And then
Edit.
I'm going to go into,
Search. Notes. 44 notes.
I'm going to go down to
Toolbar. New note.
New Note, toolbar, bottom right.
Tap to compose a new note. New
You
note.
double tap on that.
New note. Note. Text field.
Now, what happens with Notes, it thinks you want to go into text mode. So the first thing it's going to do, it's going to pop up a keyboard thinking you want to type in there. But we don't want to do that. We want to scan the document. So you got to fake it out. You got to say, get that keyboard out of here. And the way I do it is I go up to the option called Note Options,
Note actions.
Note Actions, and I click on that, and the keyboard goes away.
Note actions and sharing.
And then my camera will be now revealed that was behind the keyboard. It's kind of a little trick I do to get to the scanning feature. So let me do that.
Note outlines and grids.
So I can just hit cancel.
Options or actions?
Note Actions, that's at the very top, it's a button. And if you click on that, it will remove the keyboard, and then you hit cancel on Note Actions. And then at the bottom, you'll see a camera icon.
Toolbar.
Camera.
Button.
That's what we want, because we want to scan a
Double tap
document.
to add a photo or scan.
We don't want to type into a note. We want to scan a document. So we got to get rid of that keyboard. So I'm doing that now. I'm going to click on this whole camera option at the bottom. It's the second one on the bottom. There's 4 tabs on the bottom, by the way. There's a,
Checklist.
you can make a checklist. You can go to camera.
Showing writing tools.
You can go into handwriting tools. If you scribble something, it'll try to figure out what you said,
Tools.
and so on. So let's go to the camera one.
Camera. Button. Choose photo or video.
Now, when I do that, it gives me some options with the camera. I can choose a video or photo, okay?
Or video.
I can take a new photo or video, or
Scan.
I can scan a document. That's what I want to do, because that's where the OCR function is hidden, okay? The other ones is only going to attach a video or a picture, and it may not decipher what's in the picture. But scanning document says, let's OCR this guy. Let's figure out what it says, okay?
Screen it.
There you go.
Or choose photo.
So I'm going to scan documents.
I think
Now,
it
I've
tells you
got
what
a-
something as in
Humans view.
I got to put the document in front.
plastic. Or, I don't know. Some, I don't know. Told me.
Okay,
Scan documents.
when I get the document at just the right
Scan.
distance away from it, it will then snap the picture automatically. I then have to save it.
Save.
Save button, lower right, okay?
Double save.
Now,
Would you go over that last one a bit? You're down on document. When you scan the document, and the document, will it tell you when you're right?
yes, so what you do is just like you do in
Folder.
Seeing AI or SuperSense, you have to be a pretty good camera person. What you do is you lay the document flat, you put the camera of the phone dead center of the document as much as you can, and then you lift the camera parallel to the document going straight up. And then as soon as it detects all 4 corners of the document, it will then snap the picture automatically. And you'll hear it. It'll
Okay,
click.
it will pick it up when it's right.
That's right. That's right. And then you have to, when it's done taking a picture, you're going to get a save option, bottom right of the screen, which is what I just clicked on. Now the screen will have the new note. And if you want to see what's on the thing you just took a picture of, all you have to do is put your finger on the image, I think. Well, we'll see what happens here. Let's see.
Scan document attachment. Austria. 1 scan. Possible text for first scan. Equals ruler. Austria. Pro series. Multi. Chopper / choppery. Slicer. Model no.
So there it is.
MC.
So it took a picture of a document and it actually took the text off the document. And this is an actual manual for my chopper slicer thing for vegetables. And that's what it was reading to you. And that's how you can scan a document into notes. If I ever want to see this later, it'll be in my notes as a scanned document. So let's see what else we got. Yeah, that's all I had for that. It's just to learn how to scan and put it to a note. And are there any questions about that outside of what Maggie just asked? Anything new?
Hey, Manny,
Okay.
it's Patty.
Yeah. Hey.
Hey, so since it gave you information like model numbers, can you then save that to a document?
You know, I've never tried that. Wow. That's a good question. I don't have an answer for that. You stumped the band. But
'Cause
since we're
I think it does if you swipe, because I saved some instructions for my cuckoo clock.
oh yeah.
And I did that. So if you do that, I think it goes, because I created that personal or documents, and you could save it in there.
Wow, that's good. I've never tried that. I'll definitely have to give that a try and include that in the notes. Thank you Patty, for that.
Okay.
That's great. So it's a real handy thing for capturing your documents, and then you can then get the text off of it later.
74,
So I think that's a pretty neat little
Tuesday.
feature.
June 15th.
Now, if you just want to read documents and not worry about putting them in a note and things like that, you can still use SuperSense, Seeing AI, and that'll actually just read them to you, and then you're done, you know. But this is a handy way to store stuff too.
Manny, can you go across the bottom? So if they just want to make a regular note, that you remind them how to do that?
Oh, absolutely. Yes, absolutely. Let's do that. Yes.
7:07 p.m.
Okay. So I'm going to close notes and start from scratch again.
Back button. No. App notes.
All right.
Active. Voice map closing. VLC.
Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to open notes, and what it's going to do, it's going to automatically put me right into, well, let me just do it. Hey Siri. Open notes.
Notes.
Okay, so as soon as you open notes, the front door notes, the lower right side, you're going to have this create note or new note thing, and it's down at the bottom. Let me just,
Action toolbar. New note.
new note. That's what you do. So you double tap on
to compose a
that.
New note. Text field.
So what's great about it is it comes up in editing mode, which is really good if you don't want to scan a document, you just want to go right in. And all you got to do is you can just start dictating your note. You do the 2-finger tap twice on the screen to begin dictation, say your piece, and then 2-finger tap twice again to end dictation. So I don't know.
Screen dimmed. Note.
So I go in
Text
there.
field.
My country, 'tis the sweet land of liberty, period.
Inserted my country to his of the sweet land of liberty.
Close enough. So that's how you can record a note. And then of course, to commit the note, to commit the changes, there's going to be a button up here somewhere. Let me see.
My folder. Note action done.
Done. Done button, top right. Well, once you find the done with your Explore by Touch, you can just go double tap on that.
Folders. Back button.
And then go back to folders.
Folders. Folder.
And your new notes in there.
Button.
So it's a very handy app for just keeping general notes, scanned documents. You can keep photos and videos in there as notes, as note attachments. So it's really handy. It's a great way to organize your information into one notes area instead of having, you know, just videos over here and stuff over there, or scanned documents over here. You can put them all in your notes and find them real easy. Okay. So if there's no questions on notes and OCR, I will go to the next guy here. Let me see. Can everybody hear me okay?
Excellent.
Yes.
Okay. All right. So one app that I'm revisiting, just because they've updated it a little bit, is the podcast app. And that's the app where you can access internet streams, audio streams, and subscribe to them. And so this one's more of a review. I don't know if we went over it well enough last time, but I just wanted to go over it a little bit to be sure that we've got it. You know, so let me open up that app. Hang on a second here.
App notes.
All right.
Closing note. Notes. Active.
So we're going to open podcast.
Podcasts. Podcasts. May 25th.
So most of these screens that you encounter on Apple iOS devices like phones and tablets, even the iPod, they're going to be what are called tabbed interfaces. And typically these tabs are at the bottom. And that's how you get around in these apps to get to the sections you want. The podcast app is no different.
Page more.
So there are, I believe there are 4 tabs on the bottom. We'll go through each one. So the first tab is
Tab bar. Selected. Listen now. Tab.
Listen Now tab. So that shows you the podcasts that you've subscribed to, so to speak, the ones that you want all of the latest things from, the latest releases of podcasts from. They'll show up here, and you can just tap on the one you want. It'll play the latest episode of whatever it is. Okay, and they're displayed in little squares, and they have descriptions below it. They'll be like in a list or a grid view, depending on how they're laid out. So the next one
Browse.
is browse. Now,
45%.
I don't use browse that much because it's usually showing stuff that I'm not really interested in. So I don't really use the browse tab. But in there, you can see what they think you might like or what they're promoting. And if you like a certain podcast, you can then click on it or tap on it, and then you could subscribe to it or listen to it or whatever it is you want to do. Okay. So that's browse, and that's just going to have a smattering of all kinds of podcasts that are available out there. Now, note some podcasts cost money, but most of them are free. And I don't know if that's going to change in the future. I've been hearing rumblings of them charging for these more, but I hope that doesn't happen because they've always been kind of free for most of them. So let's keep our fingers crossed on that one.
Library.
The third tab is called Library, and those are the ones, that has the guys that you've listened to, and it actually stores a copy of them locally so you can re-listen to them quickly or offline. You can go into your library and delete these individually or delete them in mass, but every one you listen to will end up in your library of things you've listened to. Okay. Let's go over, and then the last one is Search.
Search tab.
And that one will allow you to find new ones. So let's say you like, I don't know, crochet. Let's do that. So you would go to the search bar.
Browse all podcasts. Search field.
All podcasts, search
Double
field.
tap to edit.
I'm gonna double tap to edit.
Search field. Search.
When I do that, I can now dictate something in there. And let's look for, I don't know, we'll just do crochet. That's an easy one. Let's do that. Crochet.
Inserted crochet. Search. Search field. We crochet podcast. We
So
crochet.
there's a We Crochet podcast. I'll just do 2 or 3 here so you can see that there's a lot of search results.
Crochet and crime. L button.
Crochet and crime. That sounds interesting. What's the next one?
Keep calm and carry yarn. A knitting and crochet podcast.
Okay.
Vivian and Alice. We crochet podcast.
So if I want
We crochet.
the We Crochet podcast, which is probably the most relevant results, because that's what it tries to do. The search guy will try to put the most relevant results up on top. So let's say that's the one we want.
We crochet.
We double tap on that.
Podcast artwork. Image. We crochet We crochet. Latest episode. The podcast for all things more. Black Star episodes. Heading. See all. Thursday. Love yourself and your son.
So they've redesigned this app a little bit. So when I went into this thing, what they've done is they've allowed you to access the episodes directly without having to subscribe first. So if I pick any of these, I can just start listening. So let's see, I don't know, let's see.
See all. Episode. Black Star 4 more. The podcast for latest episode. Button.
So if I do that, if I get a latest episode, it's going to start playing it, I believe. Let me see.
Latest episode. Latest episode. Pause.
Welcome to the We Crochet Podcast, brought to you by crochet.com. Guess what? Regan's back.
All right, so that's enough.
Pause.
You get the picture. So that's how you can access content online, audio content for whatever you're interested in. Crochet happened to be this one. You could do it on dogs. You could do it on guitars, on blindness, on whatever it is you're interested in. And there will be a podcast, I guarantee, for everything you're interested in. And pretty nice little app. I'm really happy with it. So let me see if I have anything else for the podcast app now. Let's see. So any questions on podcasts, or are we okay on that one? All right.
Yeah,
Manny,
Manny.
Manny, it's
Yeah.
Barbara here. Do you
Yeah.
want to show them how to use the ACB one because the convention's coming up?
I'm gonna need help with that one. I can definitely look for the ACB one and we could try it together. You wanna do that? Let me see.
Well, if you put in ACB, the first thing that pops up should be the community one.
Because let's do a search for ACB. That's a good idea. Let me go back.
Back.
So in the
Crochet
search bar,
content selected. All pod crochet. Search field.
so I'm in a search field. I have crochet in there.
To edit.
I'm going to double tap to edit it.
Clear text. Got clear text. Dictate.
Now I'm going to type in ACB and see what happens. So since ACB is not a word, it's an acronym, I'm going to use my finger to explore it on the keyboard. When I get to the letter that I want, I'll then select that letter. I'm going to do the A, C, and B. So you might hear some other stuff. So let me do that.
Cap.
A,
J, V, C, C. B.
there's ACB. So I'm going to do that.
Search. ACB. Search field. ACB community. ACB radio. Button.
So there's ACB radio.
On the community, that will have all the community calls, that'll have all the stuff on it,
Okay.
for the convention also, and so will the radio. So I
Okay.
just wanted to show them how easy it was to get into either one of those. And
Well, I
you
can
don't
tell you
have-
one thing.
You don't have to pay anything.
Yeah, I can tell you one thing. There are
Barbara.
search results for
Barbara,
ACB.
this is Maggie, are you typing in ACB in capitals or small letters?
The first letter will probably be capitals, but it doesn't matter. It's not case sensitive. The searches, it's very forgiving
Okay.
in that you can type it either way and it'll be fine. But you will get a lot of search results. I see a screen full of search results for ACB, and I'm sure the convention stuff will be in there along as the radio and everything else. So you could just parse through the list and get the one you want and start listening right away. So yes, very, very handy and very, very good for that kind of stuff. Tark, did you have a question? I think I missed you last time. Are you there? Okay.
Hey, man.
Yeah.
Yes. So I downloaded a bunch of podcasts, or I subscribed to a bunch of podcasts, and then it said my memory was all full or something. Is there a trick to? I know you can undownload the podcast thing, but I don't know. That was a hard part of me.
Oh, you just want a way to master. Yeah. Well, I know you do that through. Yeah. I know you do that through the library, but I don't know if you can mass delete. I know you can do them one at a time. I've never tried to mass delete without. I know what you're saying about unsubscribing or getting out of it and then just getting rid of everything at one time. I don't know.
Then I downloaded a bunch of episodes, I guess. So I had thousands of episodes. That would have been helpful for mass deleting. But the thing was that I was subscribed to a bunch of podcasts, and I would like to have still been subscribed to the podcast, but I had to unsubscribe to the podcast to free memory.
That's right. Yeah, I think, I can look into that. Again, I don't go too deep into the apps. I just try to introduce them, but I think you're right. I'll see if I can find a way to do that easier than what you're just saying and put that in the notes, because I don't have a clear answer for you now. Sorry about that, but I'll definitely look into that.
One of the tricks I think that might work is when you're not using the app, you unload it, or then when you want to use it, you click on it and you download the app again. It's on
Okay.
It's still in the same place. It's not downloaded or.
Yeah, I'll
so
check into that.
Wow. All right. Tell me when you're. Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, definitely.
iPhone.
Yeah.
Love yourself and yourself.
Okay, any more questions on the podcast or? Okay. I'm going to move on to the next thing. Let's see here. All right, so we wanted to review Safari and bookmarks. Searching on Safari and bookmarks. I think that's what I called it. So when you do You remember when a few lessons back when I told you guys, tell Siri to open website Tucson Society of the Blind, and then it gave you like these results, and you tap on it and it opens Safari. I don't know if you remember that far back. It's a while back when we did that. Well, what that's doing, it's doing a Google search. By default, Safari uses Google search to find content. Whether you approach it by using Siri or if you go into Safari and dictate the same thing, it's going to do the same search. So in review, let me show you how to do a search just with your voice without even opening Safari first. And then I'll show you that same search in Safari if you're going to do it that way, okay? So what you got to do, let's see here.
Podcast.
Hang on a second here. Close
Amazon
that out.
Podcast. Closing podcast.
So what I would do is I would ask Siri, open website, which is the keyword, the verb open, and then website, and then the name that you want to open. So I would say, hey Siri, open website, Tucson Society of the Blind.
I found some web results. I can show them if you ask again from your iPhone.
And Society of the Blind.
So on my phone, Siri's going to show me results. If I put my finger at the very top and start gliding down, I'm going to find the results.
Tucson Society of the Blind. Welcome to TSB.
So that's the search result.
Educational programs for the.
So I'm going to double tap on that search result and it's going to open Safari for me and load that site.
Format options. Tucson Society of the Blind logo.
And now I'm in the Tucson Society of the Blind website. Now, the other way you can do that, if you want to practice your gestures or you just want to do it from Safari, you can get the same results, but it's a little more work. But I'll show it to you anyway. It's the second road to Rome. So here we go. I'm going to close Safari.
Apps Safari.
Okay.
Closing Safari. At Safari.
Now I'm going to open Safari again as if I'm opening it for the first time. And I'm going to go to Google, which is in my bookmarks.
Is editing. The Google button.
We go to my Google bookmark. So now I got the Google search screen, okay?
Web page loaded. So
if I go down to Google search bar, which I'll use my finger to glide down there.
Doodle for Google to search and
So I'll double tap on the search bar.
collapse. Search combo box.
Now I'm going to dictate the same words that I told Siri. So I'm going to do that now. Tucson Society of the Blind.
Inserting Tucson Society search. Main menu. Address. 11.
Okay, and what it'll do, Google will search and then display all of the search results right under where I search. So I'm going to use my finger to get down to the search results.
Doodle search. Tucson Society of the Blind. Heading level 3. About this result. Welcome to the Tucson Society.
And there it
of the
is. If
Blind.
I tap on
Yes,
that,
about this
it's
Tucson
going to take me to the
Society-
website.
Tucson Society of the Blind.
So there's two ways to do that. I prefer the Siri way just because I'm lazy, but you could do it with Safari as well, going in there and dictating and things. It's good both ways so you can learn how to navigate with gestures. That's a really good way of doing it. And of course, all the sites you like, you want to go down and maybe bookmark them so you don't have to find them again. So let's say, I want to open one of my bookmarks. There's a toolbar at the bottom of the screen in Safari, and you go down to it. And I'm going to use my finger to glide down there.
Welcome toolbar. Forward.
So like the third button over. So the first button is back,
Back.
and then
Button.
forward,
Forward.
share,
Show bookmarks.
and then there's show bookmarks.
Button. Show book.
And in the bookmarks page, you can go to the list.
This welcome. Tucson Society of the Blind.
And that's my Tucson Society of the Blind bookmark. If I double tap on that,
Actions of Web page
it
loaded.
just brings it up. So there's kind of three ways that I've shown you to get to the website of your choice. You can use Siri, you could use Google search and Safari, or you could have a stored bookmark that takes you right there. So pretty easy stuff once you get used to it. So that's just a review and a little bit more for you to, just to find a site that you need. And it works for anything that you can search for. Okay, let's see what's next here. Do we have any more questions on bookmarks or Siri search or Safari search or anything like that? Okay. We're gonna keep going then. Okay. So one thing that I was asked to look at today, the Bard mobile app. We always talk about books, and we haven't talked about magazines. Has anybody ever downloaded magazines from Bard yet?
Yes, Maggie,
Okay.
I do.
How do you like that,
Yeah,
Maggie? Is that been good for you?
Not as well. To me, it's not as good as the book app.
Yeah, the search.
They have some good
good.
ones. They have some good ones, but it's a little difficult.
Well, in my humble opinion, it's very limited compared to the books, and there's
Yeah.
really no search. All you can do is peruse the list, as far as I can tell, and then you can choose the issue you want once you find the magazine. So let's try
They
that.
don't- Yeah, they don't find magazines for you that aren't on the list.
Right. Again, it's kind of limited in its scope, but at least there are some that are available. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to look for a magazine. I know of one that's in there. It's called Consumer Reports. Let's look at that one. So I'm going to go in.
Try again. But Safari.
All right. So I'm going to open the Bard app. So it's over here.
Bard mobile.
Bard mobile. I'm going to double tap on
Tap
that.
to open. Bard mobile. 2001.
So
Tap Bard.
the second tab is where you want to go. You want to go to Get Books. Okay. And under Get Books, there's going to be a thing called magazines. Here, let's take a look.
Recently added to Bard. Previous most popular books.
Somebody fall asleep.
Bard website.
Well, my voice is very calming, so it's probably
You're
So we're gonna go-
hypnotizing people.
we're going to browse magazines. That's what we're going to do.
Browse magazine. Audio magazines.
Now you have two options in Browse Magazines. You have audio magazines and you have Braille magazines. So if you're a Braille user or you have a Braille display, which is a special device you hook to your phone or your computer, and it will tell you things using the Braille language, the dots, the 6-dot cell thing. So we're going to go to audio because I don't think hardly any of us use Braille. Maybe Patty does. And of course, you would need a Braille display to really show that example. So let me go to audio magazines.
Audio magazines.
Now, just like Maggie said, it's more limited in its scope. So it just gives you a big list. I'm not going to go way down to the Z's. I'm going to get down to like Consumer Reports. That's the only one I can think of. So I'm going to use my finger and just find the one I want.
Unhacker. Choice Consumer Reports.
There it is,
Audio.
Consumer Reports. So I go into there. And then after you choose the magazine title, you can then choose the issue you want. And that's another list that you can parse. So you go down the list.
More info. Consumer April 2021. Total time.
Now, the problem is with the magazines is that it only gives you the month. It doesn't give you the title, like what's in the magazine. Do you want to open this Consumer Reports thing and listen to a thing and not have anything that you care about in there? I think that's the thing they could improve on in Bard, is to describe the magazines a little more. So let's go into
Consumer Reports. April
So I found the one in April that I want to do. So there's two ways to go into it. If you swipe up with one finger on the screen, you have a few options. So if I swipe up, here's what I get.
Add to wish list.
Add to wish list. So that means you add it to wish list and you download it later.
Download.
Or you could download. So when you download it, it will end up on your bookshelf and then you can read it just like a book. So that's basically, I don't want to download it now because it might take a little while and it'll just chew up a bunch of time that we could use for a class. But that's what you do. You swipe up or down on the one you want, and you can either put it on your wish list, download it later, or you can download it right now and it'll go straight to your bookshelf from right where you're at. So, and that's the way magazines work. Similar to books, but not quite as good as Maggie said. So,
Manny,
okay, anything
I
else?
heard a
Yeah, go ahead.
pretty, I heard a pretty cool trick. While you're reading a book, if you push, I've got an iPhone. If you push the right side button, the screen turns off. The book will still play, and you'll save a lot of battery. Have you heard that true?
Yeah, there is a setting in Bard that allows you to play in the background, and I think that's what you're talking about. So it doesn't have to be on and in the foreground. You can actually turn the screen off, and it'll still keep playing while the screen is off, and that'll save your battery. You're absolutely right. So that's a good one.
Do you
Thanks for
have
that.
to set that up? Do you have to
I
set
remember-
that up in the settings?
You know, let me check
Or is
that
it
real quick
automatic?
while we're on it.
Yeah, I don't know.
I'm gonna
if,
check
what it automatically do.
Setting.
Thanks.
Tab. Settings.
Let me look at that.
Audio settings. Braille and display. User account set. Audio settings.
So we go to audio settings, I believe.
Speed. Speed. Tone. Background playback. Switch button.
So background playback is what it's called, and that switch needs to be on. I don't
During playback.
know if it's on by default, but that needs to be on to support playing back in the background. Whenever you hit the home button, you put an app in the background. This app will continue to play in the background, and
How did
I
you
think
get
that.
that?
I'm sorry, Tara. Go ahead.
So how did you get to that setting? Was it in the Bard app?
So
or what? How'd
at
you get
the
there?
very bottom, on the Bard app, at the very bottom, there's a thing called Settings, like the third tab in. And then you're going to go to Audio Settings. And then about halfway down the screen, you're going to have a thing called Background Playback.
Background play.
And that needs to be toggled on for that to work properly.
Okay.
I would think it
Settings
should
and
be
audio
on by
settings.
default. Yeah.
Oh, let me see. My black brown playback is on too. I never
Yeah.
have messed
Now,
with
if that
it,
was
but,
off, I got a feeling if that was off, Tark, and then you tried to do what you did, it would stop playing. But that's something you could test if you'd like. But I believe that's the
Thanks.
setting that keeps it on, while your screen's off. And I don't know if there's any other settings here that are important. Let me see.
Auto during play. Automatic start playback. Automatic 5-second rewalk. Skippable. Verbosity. Silent beeps. Restore default.
So there's not very many settings there, but I think that's the one that you're talking about. So,
Apps.
Okay.
all right.
It didn't really work as good as I thought it would, but it was. I'll have to work on it more. I'll have to read more books.
Oh. Okay. Well, cool. Is there any other questions on the Bard app then? All right, sailing on through. Let's see here. Did I put anybody else asleep yet? Okay. Now here's one that I don't get to play with too much as an app, but I do use its functionality a lot. And it's the clock app. And basically, your clock app is responsible for your clock, of course, but you never have to set your clock because it's always on time. It's not like the old days when you had to set your clock every time it went off of time, it was slow or fast. Your iPhone stays always perfectly on time. So really all you have to do with the clock app anymore, excuse me, is to set alarms and timers. That's really the two basic things you do with a clock app. So your alarms are like your wake up alarm. You know, if you want your phone to wake you up in the morning, you know, you can set an alarm for like 8 a.m. or whatever time you get up. And at 8 a.m., it'll blare at you until you shut it off. And so if you set an alarm for 8 a.m. and it rings, it starts blaring at you. You can hit the home button if you got a home button to silence the alarm, to stop it. Or you can find the stop button on the screen and then double tap that. That's how that works. And you can set an alarm for any time of day. You could set it for 10 seconds from now, or you could set it for a set time. You could set reoccurring alarms. You could set alarms that are on Monday, Fridays. And you could, there's just a lot of flexibility with alarms. And then the other side of the clock app would be the timers. These are really good. So let's say you want to do a 10-minute boiled egg or something. You put them in and you want to boil for 10 minutes. Well, you don't want to stand around and look at the clock for 10 minutes. You just tell Siri to set a timer for 10 minutes. It'll blare at you just like the alarm does in the morning. And you'll know when 10 minutes has gone by. Really handy for cooking or things that are time sensitive, or whatever you need. And that's basically what the clock app has on the surface. There's always more detail to these apps than I'm giving you. I'm just giving you the broad strokes so you can go in there and do some exploring for yourself and really get deep into things. You might find that the clock app does even more than that for you. You can get in there and do more crazy stuff. But that's basically what I use it for 99% of the time. All right, any questions on that, on the clock app or timers or alarms?
This is Maggie. I just want to throw one thing in.
Okay.
The timer works really well if the alarm's gone off and you want to roll over. All you do is yell, Siri, set the timer for 10 minutes or whatever. You don't have to redo the alarm or anything.
Yep, that's another way. Absolutely. That's a very, very good point. So Siri is a powerful companion on your phone. And as Maggie stated, you can use Siri for a lot of things. And I use Siri exclusively to set alarms and timers. I've never gone into the clock app, I don't think. I mean, I think I did it one time just to see it. But the testament of how good of an application it is that I don't even have to open it. I can control it 100% with Siri. So that's the mark of a good app, especially for us, being that we don't want to be messing on the screen too much if we don't have to. So yeah, that's a good point, Maggie. Thank you.
Yeah. Well, the other thing is that Siri will set the alarm differently for different days. Like if you want it at 4 o'clock certain days, or you want to sleep in, Siri will just set Monday or Tuesday or whatever different day you want. It's not the same every day.
That's right. And you can also set for recurring alarms. So let's say, I don't know, like Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, you want to wake up at 7 a.m. and Tuesday and Thursdays, you want to wake up at 8, and you want to just make those recurring. Well, every week, it'll wake you up at the same time correctly for each day until you tell it to no longer be recurring. So it's kind of nice. Really kind of nice app. It's replaced my alarm clocks or timepieces, just the phone itself. And it's so convenient to have the phone do it. So yeah, it's pretty good stuff. Pretty good. Okay, there's no more questions on the clock app. We'll go on to the next thing here, which is notifications. Now, someone here had a question about notifications, or are there any questions of notifications? Let me put that out there. Because you can control notifications by app in the settings. So what I like to do every once in a while is go to my notifications in my settings app and just turn off notifications for apps that I don't care about, You want to keep notifications for things like, your phone and maybe your email or your text messages, but you can also turn all that stuff off. So let me show you how you do that. So let me get my phone out here. All right, so we're going to go into settings.
Settings. Notes.
Oops, hang on, settings.
Apple TV.
And in the front door settings, there's a thing called notifications. So let's go down there.
Airplane, Wi-Fi, Bluetooth, cellular, personal notifications.
Notifications. It's right under hotspot or whatever. So go in there.
Preview. When unlocked. Button.
So in the notifications, you can set up a lot of different things. Notifications can be shown as badges on icons. For people with low vision, they can see these little red dots on their icons on the screen. Those are called badges. There's also notifications that pop up as banners, which are big textual banners that come up when something happens. So the gist of notifications is being able to control which apps will notify you, because you can get information overload if all apps will send you notifications. So for example, I'm going to go to my list of apps, which is in this whole notification settings thing. So down under
Notification style. Heading. Amazon. Off. Button.
So Amazon, let's just use Amazon. So Amazon I have off. If Amazon wants to advertise to me, they would use the notification section. I turned it off, so I don't want to see banners from them. I don't want to see badges on their icon that says there's 3 notifications that you haven't seen from Amazon, because these guys are going to be bugging me all the time. So I turned them off.
Amazon.
So I go in there to Amazon, and right now I have it turned off.
Tap to toggle setting.
If I turn it on,
Allow notification on.
then I get notification styles, and there's 3 styles listed. Let's see.
Allow on lock screen. Button.
So you can allow on the lock screen, which means when your phone goes black and you try to open it up and you get that lock screen with the clock, you'll see notifications from Amazon there. That's what that is.
Selected. Allow in notification center. Button.
Notification center is where all notifications are gathered. So when something happens, they call it the notification centers, but it's just a pop-up of a notification. That's all it really is. And then the last one is,
Allow as banner. Button.
and of course the style is banner. And then down below that, you can enable sounds. You can do, let's see.
Sounds. Badges. Off.
You can do badges, those little
Double
red
tap
guys I
to
was talking
toggle setting.
about.
Options. Heading.
Let's see.
Show previews. When unlocked. Default. Button.
You can show the preview of the badges will show a little bit of what the notification says. That's what the preview is all about.
Notification grouping. Automatic. Button.
And then I haven't explored notification grouping so much, so we'll go into that right now.
Notification grouping.
And that's basically it. Well, what you want to do, the very top of the screen, for those apps that you do not want to hear from, you don't want to be hearing all these notifications from, you just turn them off.
Allow notification off.
If you turn it off, then Amazon or whatever app you're in will not notify you of anything at all. And that's great if you want to keep your sanity, because most of these apps will try to notify you all the time, especially if they're trying to sell you something. So all of your apps will be listed here, and then you can then turn them on or off or set them the way you like it by application. So, but the good thing is you only have to do this one time unless you want to go back and change it later. Once you set notifications on or off, they'll stay that way until you go back and change it. So, and I think by default, when you install a new app, it'll ask you when you first bring the app up, do you want to receive notifications from this app? If you say no, that's what gets toggled on this screen. It says no notifications. So, unless you really want to be notified about stuff, you'll usually answer don't allow notifications, and that will stifle so much messaging to you. Okay, so that's what I had on notifications. Any questions on that one? All right, so let's keep going. Okay. Now, one thing that I went over this week with a student was Amazon Prime Video. So those of you that have Amazon Prime to save on shipping, well, you also have access to video. And they have free stuff, and of course they have stuff you pay for. But the good thing about Amazon Prime is that you can search for any content and you can usually find it. Now, whether you have to pay for that content, that's something. And then the other thing too is that if you go into the contents description, let's say you find a movie that you like, but you want to check to see if it's got an audio description track. Well, you can check that out in Amazon Prime Video. So the app is called Prime Video. And if you're a Prime member, I encourage you to download that video, that app, and then you can watch video from that app, or movies and whatnot. So I'm going to open up mine. So let's see.
Prime Video.
So it's called Prime Video.
Tap to open. Prime Video.
Okay, so it's going to open. All right.
Prime Video. Setting.
So just like any application, you got tabs at the bottom. So let's see what they are.
Tab bar. Selected. Home. Tab.
Home screen has stuff that they think you like, stuff they're pushing for you to watch. That'll be all those. Okay. Let's see what the next one is.
Store. Tab. 2 of.
Store is where you can buy content that's for sale, that's not free on for you on Prime.
Find. Tab. Downloads. Tab.
Your downloads.
My stuff. Tab.
And of course, stuff you've purchased will be in another section. So let's go to Find.
Find. Tab.
So I'm going to look for a movie that I know that there's an audio description track, so I can show you how to check to see if a movie that you want to see is audio described. So I'm going to look for
actor, title, or genre. Search field.
I'm going to do that. Double tap.
Actions available. Search field.
And I think one of them is called Back to the Future. I think that's one that has the description track on it. So let's go there. Back to the Future.
Inserted Back to the Future. Search. Search.
All right, so below the search thing, I'm going to use my finger and find the first guy.
Results for Back to the Future. 1985. 116 minutes.
All right.
Enter.
So there it is. Now, if I want to see the details before I watch it, I'll double tap on that listing.
In progress. Back button.
And here are the details. And I'm just going to show you the first part of it because that's the part that's important. So coming down from the top,
Back to the Future.
there's a title.
Rent movie HD $3.99.
So that's not on my Prime free stuff, but I can rent it for $4, and that will end up on my monthly bill from Amazon, added to my membership cost if I were to rent that. But let's keep going down. Let's see if there's an audio track, a described audio track for us people who need that. So we'll keep going.
iMovie HD $13. More purchase options. Trailer. Add to watch list. Share. Marty McFly. Star rating. 4 languages. Audio. 2. Subtitles. 1.
Okay.
Button.
So you want to get to that part that says languages, because that's the little button that you got to tap on to see what's going on with the audio description track. So let's go into there.
Close. Button.
So there, what you do when you tap on that button, you're going to get like a little dialogue, and let's see what the dialogue says so you can hear what it says. Okay.
Available languages. You can change languages while audio. English. English audio description.
So there it is. You have a regular English track, and then you have another one, a second audio track, which is called English audio description. So if you were to rent or buy this movie, your phone would actually have an audio describe track playing with this movie. Movies without the audio describe track would just have English all by itself without the audio description tag. So let's go here. So that's basically how you do that. If I were to rent that, I could then just watch it. And it usually lets you rent it for a few days, like 24 or 48 hours or something. And then it then becomes unavailable. If I were to buy the movie, it costs more, but then it would be part of my library, my stuff. And then I could go watch it as many times as I want, whenever I want. And that's kind of the way the Prime Video thing works. And that's what I had on Prime Video. I don't know if there's any questions on that.
Manny, may I say something that's related?
Oh, yeah. Go for it. Yeah.
Well, I really like audio description a lot, but a lot of times I'll watch some of the World War II documentary type movies that are all in German or Russian. And so I get real frustrated because even though I can see a little bit, I can't read the subtitles. I said, well, this stinks. But I found an app that I haven't figured out how to use yet called CC for closed caption, TTS, text to speech.
Interesting.
And so I beg you to explore it because I think it could help all of us in the future.
That's a good point. Yeah.
And it's in the App Store for Apple. So
Okay.
it's just something that might help all of us.
So have you tried the app out yet, or have you just read about it?
No, I downloaded it a long time ago, I guess. And I forgot about it. And I discovered it on my phone the other day, but I couldn't understand what they meant by go to their blog or something like that to find, I don't know. I just couldn't put it all together that day. Some days we're kind of space cadets, you know?
Nancy, can you repeat that again? What was it again? CC something.
TTS. And I figured it text to speech.
T and then the
like
S like
Tom,
Sam on the
Tom.
end.
TTS, like text to speech.
And it's a free app.
It's a free app.
I'll have to look that up.
I don't know if there's a better one, but
yeah,
because that was a movie I really wanted to watch, but it was all in Russian and it had English subtitles, but that didn't do me any good.
Well, I'm wondering if they would step on each other. I mean, I'm just playing devil's advocate here. You know,
I don't know.
If it does an English translation, text to speech for the closed captioning, would it have Russian language speaking and English at the same time? And I don't know. I mean, it'd be interesting to check that out, actually.
Well, you know, you're way advanced over me, and just knowing it exists is so valuable to all of us.
Yeah, I think it's interesting, actually. That's a nice find. So
it's about time.
Yeah.
Oh, it makes me so angry.
Yeah.
Don't we count?
Well, thank you for that. I appreciate that.
Well, I hope it's a winner. I haven't mastered it yet.
Well, when I review this video later and I write the notes up, I'm definitely going to write that down and then publish it in the notes and have some notes on the CCTTS app. So yeah, really nice.
Sorry I interrupted. Thank you.
No, not at all. Any other questions about Prime Video? Audio description? Okay, all right. Let's keep going then. One thing I wanted to touch on too, I was going to do this last week, but I ran out of time. Has anyone ever used their phone to mirror their screen onto a big TV, or have played a movie from their phone to their TV?
I do it all the time.
Yeah, that's called
I do too.
Yes. So there's a couple of ways to do that. You can have a dongle like, I think Maggie has a dongle, like,
Yep,
and a
I
dongle is
do.
a connector between your phone and then your TV's HDMI port. And what it does, it plugs into your phone, and that dongle will mimic what's on your screen on your phone onto the big TV. So it gets real big, and you can see it really big. The other way to do it is wirelessly, and you need a TV or a device that supports what's called AirPlay. And when you do that, you can wirelessly send it to your TV. So, like an Apple TV, that will always support AirPlay. But there are TVs that you can buy that have the AirPlay standard in there, and it'll allow you to mirror what's on your screen over to your TV. And
I
it's
have
real.
an LG TV that does that.
Yep, there you go. And it's real handy for seeing small stuff on your phone very big. And I know Maggie uses it because I know I helped her set it up a long time ago.
Manny,
Yeah.
is that AirPlay available on the Amazon Fire TV?
No, it is not. You would have to buy an app or get an app on the Fire TV that would support that. So no, I don't know of something on Fire TV. I was looking into that, but no. Like I said, it takes a party app to do it on a Fire TV.
Manny, it's
Yeah.
Maggie. I think too, for those of us who have part sight, the dongle is great because if you have friends that send you a picture on your email or your text and you're having the devil of a time seeing it, you can plop it onto your TV and there it is, huge. And you can talk to your friend and say, oh yeah, I see Aunt Eddie in the corner and what was so-and-so doing? And it'll work for a picture or it'll work for a like a little short film strip.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
it's really great.
No, it's a very interesting a thing to have, and I've used it once in a while to, like when I teach out of Desert Low Vision. Some of my lower vision students, they want to see things big. They need to see it on a screen sometimes, and I will hook my phone or my computer into a monitor over there, and then they can see it real big, and they're real happy to see that because I guess it's kind of proof that it works. So yeah, so again, there's a lot of uses for it, especially if you need to read something that's real small on your phone screen, because they are small screens. And then we got our vision issues on top of that. So it kind of exactly the situation. So, but yeah. So again, if you wanted to do that, if you wanted to mirror your screen, you can do it with a physical dongle, and they're like $20 now. Or you get an AirPlay compatible device. If your TV doesn't have that, you can get like an Apple TV. It doesn't have to be a brand new one. It could be even an older one that you can pick up used for $50 or less or whatever. Hook that up, and then you can wirelessly send the image from your phone right to your TV screen. And I do that here at the house sometimes for my phone. So any questions on screen mirroring or AirPlay? Oh, by the way, AirPlay. So there is a caveat with AirPlay. If you're playing something from, I don't know, let's say you're on Prime Video, the thing we were just talking about, and you AirPlay, sometimes it won't work because Amazon is trying to see how many devices you're playing the video on. And I've been shot blocked by Amazon when I try to share my screen with my TV. So sometimes copyrighted content like movies may not AirPlay properly. But I've had no trouble with things like YouTube videos or other things. But, okay. So
8:01 p.m.
Go sit down.
the next thing I wanted to go over.
Back.
Was there a question? I'm sorry, did I miss something? Okay.
9 p.m.
The next thing I wanted to go over, there's a program that I really like. It's called Translate. Has anybody used a translator, the language translator?
Yes, I love it, Maggie.
Okay.
Double tap to
So
open.
this is the first time I've shown this one. It's kind of cool. If you're ever in a situation where you're talking to somebody who doesn't speak English or you can put your phone between you and the other person and carry a conversation, and your phone will translate for you. I'll try to do an example here. Let's see if I can make it work.
Translate.
So there's a program, there's an app called Translate. So I'm going to open that up.
Translate. Translate. In Spanish. Button. Enter text. Text field. Button.
So
Either English or Spanish.
Already.
Translate.
Don't write it. Well, or when I should.
Favorites.
Oh, it's real tender.
okay, so what I can do,
Speak in either English or
You want a vegetable with it?
if I speak in one language, the phone will translate into another language. So I'm going to speak English, and it's going to tell me something in Spanish. So watch this.
Listen. Button.
Hello, how are you doing?
Hola. ¿Cómo te va? English. US. Button.
Or if I say it in Spanish,
Listen. Button.
hola, ¿cómo estás?
Hello, how are you?
So what's cool about this is you can set the phone between you and somebody else. And if you say things loud enough and clear enough, the phone will then take what they say, turn it into your language, and then you can say it back to them through the phone. And the phone will take what you say and put it into their language. So there's never a communications problem anymore, really, with your phone. It's a real nice app. You can, I think, get up on the App Store. It's called Translate. And it's a really nice little app to use and have fun with.
Manny, it's Maggie again.
Yeah.
We have had a lady here who spoke practically no English, and she was from Germany. And I said, let's try this. And we put it on the table, and it worked like a whiz.
Yeah, yeah.
He had never heard of it. And I know no German. And this worked. I don't think we could have had an hour-long conversation, but we did it with this. And then when she had a question, she knew my phone would do it for her.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. No, that's very good. I mean, it's great to see that technology can help us out in these areas. You know, I mean, before this was possible, before the new technology, you'd have to have all kinds of books and remember phrases, and even then wouldn't work. Now you can just speak your native language and it'll get translated theirs with very good accuracy. Not 100%, very good, you know, enough to get your point across. So we've got about 25 minutes, and I thought I'd like to open it up and see if anybody has any questions that's burning that they want answers to. Maybe I can answer them. Or if there's anything we've talked about tonight that want to discuss further. I hit a lot of little points fairly quickly, and I don't know if I was unclear on any of those. I'd like to clear things up before we finish tonight. Does anybody have anything that they
Barbara
want-
here. Can you go
Yeah.
over magnifier for those that have low vision and can see?
Sure, sure. So has anybody ever used the magnifier on their phone? I'm talking about the optical magnifier.
Yes.
Okay. So
Maggie.
what that does, yeah. Okay,
No, I
what that does is it will, the magnifier acts like a regular handheld optical magnifier. And you can point it at something and it'll magnify whatever's in front of the.
I have to, yeah.
I'll get you a fresh one. You get it
What
later.
I'm gonna do is bring it up.
6 p.m.
Don't worry about it.
And the way you do that is you can just tell Siri to open magnifier. So I'm gonna do that. Open magnifier.
Magnifier.
And then whatever you put it in front of, it will magnify it. And on the screen, you have a few controls that are important. So the first one, if you can imagine the screen, the very top,
I don't even like the smell of it.
the top 3/4 of the screen has
That-
the thing
I
you're looking.
with that. And remember, you cook
And then right under that, you have
for it.
Zoom.
the zoom level,
70%.
which can be a small amount of magnification or a large amount of magnification. And the larger the magnification is, the smaller the area is that you can look at a
Or
time.
pockets.
And then the other controls that are on here are like color filters, contrast.
Settings.
There's a settings button.
Freeze frame.
There's a freeze frame. So if you're looking at something and you want to freeze it and not have to keep holding the magnifier over it, you can push that button. It'll freeze whatever is in its view, and then you can just look at it slowly at your convenience. So
I don't take
the
notes.
magnifier is a really good tool
Let me
for
record it.
low vision folks who need to see
Put it
things.
on the internet.
Okay.
Manny, excuse me a minute. Nancy, we can
Yeah.
hear you. Can you
I'm
please
sorry.
mute?
I must have bumped the mute. I'm sorry.
Please mute.
Okay, so
So Manny, can you go back over the zooming on the bottom again?
oh, sure. So going back a little bit, when you have the magnifier up and it's using the camera to see for you, and then it will blow it up for you. So the 3/4 of the screen from the top down has whatever it is that's in front of the camera. And then right below that, maybe a quarter of the way up the screen, I'm going to put my finger on it so you can hear what it says. So let me do that.
Viewfinder. Image. Zoom. 70%.
It's called Zoom, okay? Not to be confused with our meeting app. Zoom is just the magnification level, the zoom level of the magnifier. And like I said, the greater the amount of zoom, the more magnified something is, but the smaller the area is that you're looking at. Your field of view shrinks as your magnification increases. It's like an inversely proportional thing. So bigger things on a screen means less amount that you can see at one time. Now, there is a flashlight on here. Let's say you're in a dark room and you want to see something. You can kick on the flashlight, a little LED light on the back of your phone. There's some color filters if you want to apply those. That's a little more advanced. But the main thing is this freeze frame button at the bottom. And what that does, let's say you're looking at something on a menu and you don't want to keep holding the phone over and over while reading it. You could freeze it, you could double tap that button and it'll snap, it'll freeze whatever it has in front of it. And then you can just look at it with both hands without having to be over whatever it is you're looking for. And then of course, if you unfreeze it, it'll go back into the mode of whatever is in front of it, it'll show you. So it's a very handy app. And to open it, you would just tell Siri to open magnifier. You could also get it through the accessibility menu. If your phone has a home button, you could tap that button 3 times, and if it's on the accessibility menu, it'll be listed. If it's not, then you'll have to go into accessibility menu options and add the magnifier in. Typically, it's always on the menu unless you take it off. But that's another way of getting to the magnifier. It's very handy for us. So, any questions on the magnifier? All right. Any other questions about anything that's been concerning you in particular? I'd be happy to talk about that, or anything that we've gone over tonight that's still not clear.
Lazarillo. Double tap to open.
Let's see here. Okay, let's see here. So has anyone ever used an app called Lazarillo?
Yes,
Okay. What do you think of it?
I love it.
So what's the best part of Lazarillo for you? What have you got? And Lazarillo, for everyone who just hasn't used it, is an app that tells you about things that are located around you. So go ahead.
So I use it sometimes if I'm on Sunban and I have no idea where I am. It will let me know. I mean, Siri does that too, but it would let me know the names of the streets and the businesses that I'm crossing. I've used it if I'm in the city bus, because I'm a little nervous about where I am. And it tells me all the streets that I'm crossing and
It is
addresses.
not. Yeah, it's a very good little app for that. If you want to locate something and you don't know exactly what you want to locate, because you know, like with Siri, if you were to ask Siri something like, he would say Italian restaurants near me. Well, it'll give you a spattering of pizza places and this and that, but maybe Lazarillo might locate them better and list them better for you, so you can peruse them and see exactly how far they are away. And it may be
Manny, can you spell that? Can you spell that?
Yeah, oh yeah, let me blow it up because I think it's LAZ. Let me just see. So according to my phone, the app is called L as in Larry, A, Z, zebra, A, R, Richard, I, LLO, Lazarillo.
That's it.
And it's a free app. And it's really handy for finding things around you, stores, whatnot. But you know, I'll go into it and show you real quick. So around me, let's see.
Lazarillo.
So I'm opening the app now.
Stop exploration. PL 1219. Tucson AC Urban Light. Search. Category filter ER PL recently announced 3 meters to your left.
Okay. So there are
North Wrightstown Terrace Drive and East Arbor
It's
Point,
talking now.
East McLaren. 46 meters to your left. Accessible locations. Button.
So there are a lot of controls on here. But let me just go through them. You can hear them. So let's just do this.
Recently announced. Button. Accessible locations. Find nearby transport locations. Find nearby banks and ATMs location. Find nearby health locations.
Just a lot of categories here.
Find nearby food locations.
And like Patty said, when you have it on and you're on a bus, or if you're moving through town,
22 meters in front of you.
it'll do what it's doing now. It'll just keep announcing. So at the bottom, there are tabs.
Tab bar. Selected. Exploration. Tab. 1 of 4. Favorites. Tab. News. 3 unread settings. Tab.
There are 4 tabs that you can navigate on. It's really handy. I would suggest downloading this and trying it for a test ride. It really does work well. I found a few things with it, and you can discover a whole lot. And it seems to be very accurate in its descriptions of what's around you. It also tells you about how far they are away, which is really a nice thing.
Yeah, Patty, I think, I use it when I'm with friends and they're driving and, we can't find a location. I turn it on and I'm able to help them out with the names of the streets, that we're coming across and stuff. So I think that's good. Or if you go for a walk and in, a neighborhood where you don't really know that area, it tells you the names of the streets.
5 meters behind Maps with Lazarillo.
Yeah, I think that's important because,
Magnifier.
we get lost very easy.
Yeah.
And this helps us, find our way. The one thing I did find with Lazarillo, though, is that it doesn't like if it starts talking and you don't want it to talk, you have to close the app almost. There, you can't just pause it, at least as far as I could tell, real easy. I don't know if that's been your experience, Patty, but like with me, normally when I want to pause speech, I just touch the screen with 2 fingers, and it'll pause whatever speech is there. But it doesn't do that with Lazarillo. It'll just keep going and going and going. So I don't know if there's a way to do that better, to pause it. So yeah. Let me see here. Let's see.
FaceTime. Double tap to open Kindle. Page 3 of 3. My Cloud.
Just trying to see if I.
SuperSense. App library. Search field. My Cloud.
Well, okay. I think I've reached towards the end of my stuff, unless there's something else.
Tuesday.
It's
It's 8:17.
It's 8:18. If there's any Q&A we can do for the next 10 minutes, that'll be nice. Or
Tuesday.
I don't know what else to go over tonight. I went through everything kind of quick tonight. I should probably take a little more time. But is there anything, Barbara, that you would like me to go over in the next 10 minutes or so? Or how are you feeling?
The only other thing we learned with SuperSense is that if you don't hold the item the right way up, it gives you garbage.
Yes, that's right. With
And I
SuperSense.
didn't know if you want to show them real quick how to scan the document in SuperSense.
Yeah, let me get the guy that I use for my.
Because I didn't understand what I was doing wrong. So now I know to turn the object the other way when it starts giving all me this garbage stuff.
So I've got this user manual thing that I was doing with notes earlier. What I'm going to do is I'm going to purposely turn it upside down and see if it can read it. And then if it doesn't, I'll turn it right side up and see if SuperSense reads it right. It should be able to read this because it's very large text, but we'll see. Let's try it out. Here we go.
8:19 p.m.
All righty.
SuperSense.
Okay, so I'm.
Alert. SuperSense would like to send you notification. Don't allow. SuperSense. Back. But what's new in this version? Rows 1 to 5 and 5.
All right. Hang on a second.
Back. Quick read mode menu.
All right, so we're gonna turn it upside down.
282,832,223. All on. RJ too high. SJIE 08.
Okay.
E81 soft.
So that's not working. So let me turn it right side up and let's see if that works.
Blair, Austria, model no, mix 710. Instruction manual. Austria, model no, mix 710. Instruction manual. Austria, model no.
So there it is.
Analog 710. Instruction manual. Nidech Logite. Logitech. Kidech. Log. Stop. Touch.
So yes, for SuperSense, you have to have it right side up, which is kind of a bummer because we don't know if you're completely blind or very close. You have to have it right side up. And I know in Seeing AI, when you do that, you can have it upside down or on the side, and it'll actually figure that out. And JAWS will do that too when you're doing a scan into the convenient OCR for JAWS. It actually turns things around and makes sure it's right side up.
So you want to show how to zoom a document, scan a document in SuperSense? Because it tells you to move the camera left and right. I found that a little bit easier.
Yeah, let's see. I'm gonna grab a page out of here. Let's see. I'm gonna just take a page. And then let's see here. So if I hold it down here, let's see. Oh, wait a minute. I think I have to go to, if I'm not mistaken, I think there's a document mode, right?
You have to start it, yeah.
Menu. Tutorial. Subscriptions. Feedback. Invite friends. Rate Supercent. Request a call. Open the call. Back. Back.
All right.
Quick read mode on menu. On affirm. Iser on affirm. Attach the base sucking the cutting plan. SH Foodwinds listen. Did anyway. Select feature. Instant quick read.
So you gotta go select feature.
Text instant magnifier. Import image or read history.
I think.
Read in mag. Quick read. Quick read. Instantly read the text preset. Continue. But quick read mode on. Button. 00D to private and multi-chopper slicer on affirm. Injury. Always attach.
So it's
the
reading the
base
whole
header
page.
before inserting the cutting B, or use hand to push food when slips. Stop.
It does a good job reading text, especially if, like in this case, it's very high contrast. It's black text on a white page. Again, these readers don't work well with low contrast text. Like a yellow on green or something. But SuperSense worked pretty well with this, so it's good. But again, it's got to be right side up for SuperSense. But it's a good text reader if everything is okay.
And it's free.
And it's free, yes, on top of that. So there it is. Yep, there it is. Okay. Let's see.
Home. Calendar. Prime Video. Double tap.
So I think that's what I have. Let's see. Yeah, I pretty much went through it tonight. I think I'm basically done. Unless there's any questions. So do we have any takers out there?
Mary, it's
Sure.
Maggie. Some of the people might like to have what you taught me about the GPS, where if you're walking, your GPS takes you step by step. It's not just a driving thing.
Yes.
The first 2 weeks I was here, I couldn't find my way around until I got to know it. And Maddie showed me how to use the GPS walking step by step to get you where you want to go.
Yeah, it's very nice when you're walking around. You can ask for what is called walking directions instead of just directions. You can ask for walking directions, and as you get closer, it will tell you that your destination is 400 feet up on the right. And when you get there, it'll tell you turn right. It's really good for walking if you're a walker, and yeah, so. If you ask it normal directions, like direct to wherever, it'll assume you're in a car, and it'll make the directions more efficient for if you're driving around. Where if you're walking, you're going much slower, and then the phone compensates for that, and it can even tell you like approximate number of steps, feet, or whatever. So yes, that works very well. It's a very good feature. And I've used it plenty of times when I've gone walking. And I know you have too, Maggie, gone for a walk with Falcon. And yeah, it helps out. And even if you can't get to your phone, it'll show you on the watch. You can touch, tell you the directions that it's telling you on the phone, which is kind of cool. Those of you with Apple Watches. So. But yeah, that's a good feature, good feature.
74% charge.
All right.
74% charge. 826.
So I guess we're hitting the end here. 26. Does anybody have anything?
John, can you
Yeah,
get the recorder?
I will kill the recording.
Thank you, John.
Yep, sure.
Manny, I think you did an outstanding